This video is going to cover an extended fuel tank build for these two generators. The first one I'm going to start off with is the Yamaha 2000. I've had this generator for about 8 years, so it's going to be the one that I use for secondary parallel, kind of a partner generator. This one I just got about a month ago off of Amazon. It's got great reviews. So it's going to be my primary generator. I bought the 4-year extended warranty on it, so it's going to see most of the work while it's under that warranty. Problem with both these generators is they have about a gallon tank capacity. So if you've got it, running overnight to run your RV, you will be getting up in the middle of the night to refill it, or early in the morning when it's time to make coffee. So I'm going to take some ideas that I've seen on other YouTube videos and other articles I've read online and tried to make extended fuel tank for these two. Okay, the first one I'm going to try to modify is the Yamaha generator, and we're going to be taking this gas cap off that has this on and off switch. When it's on, it allows air to flow into the gas tank, so it gravity feeds down into the carburetor, and when it is off, it's sealed. So if you run this with it in the off position, it'll create a vapor lock and it'll shut the generator down. It's that gravity feed that we're going to test out and try to see if we can use for the auxiliary tank. Taking apart the gas cap. It's held together with a retaining clip, washer, spring, and this little inner diaphragm, and then this comes off. And this looks pretty unique for the Yamaha cap. It has these two diaphragm pieces in here that we'll have to make airtight as well. We're going to be installing just your typical brass 1/4 inch air steel into this right here. You want to find a drill bit that's just a little bit smaller than the threads in 1/4 inch, and we're just going to clean out the cap right here. It's just about deep enough to be seated with the end of the cap. Okay, once it's cleaned out, have your brass bit and just start slowly threading it in. I think it's probably a good idea once you start. Get a little bit of gasket maker down around the threads. This cap seems like it has a few little small holes in it that need to be filled, so I'm going to be putting it kind of all around. But you want to make sure when you gravity feeding your line that it is airtight. Alright, I'm going to slowly tighten it on. gasket maker never hurt anything. Okay, there's some kind of debate online about whether or not you need a primer to go in between your gravity fed tank and your generator. So what I've done here is I've completed the cap. I let that seal and dry overnight, so it'll be nice and solid. And this is the tank I plan on using. So I filled the generator gas can up completely to the brim, and then I've got 5 gallons of gas in this clear tank, and I have marked where the gas level is right now. So I'm going to run this for about 2 hours and come back and see if there is a natural suction created when the gas in the generator starts going down, if it automatically sucks out of the 5-gallon can, or if I need a primer bulb. Okay, the generator has been running on high for about 2 hours. That is the drop in fuel level in the gas can. And we'll take the gas cap off and we will see the fuel level inside the generator looks like. I'm not sure if you can see or not, but it is completely full. So I'm very confident that I can run this gravity fed system without a priming bulb. These are the gas cans that I'm going to be using for this auxiliary tank. You can buy 2 of these off Amazon in a pair. I've got them for $50 for both. They're 5 gallons each, and so that gives me 10 gallons for $50. A lot of the marine tanks that are 5 and 6 gallons start out at $50, which is fine. You can use those too, but I'm going to be loading these 2 gas cans along with the 2 generators on the back of an RV in a cage that's in a drop-down cage that's almost built for these 4 items. So a marine tank wouldn't work for what I have going on. Another thing I like about these gas cans is they have the vent. Just turn it right here, crack it open. You don't even have to open it all the way. That gives you a vented tank that's also protected from the elements. A lot of the new marine tanks don't have the external vent. They have a vent cap, which is fine, but I've had kind of bad luck with vent caps in the past. So I'm going to be kind of, I don't know, tapping into right here, this plug right here, to lead into the tank and then out to the generator. I'm just going to go with one of the gas caps, and then when it runs dry, I'll just take the gas cap off and then put it on to the other full gas can and continue to run. These are the parts that I've sourced to build all this. I have about 12 feet of fuel line that I got off Amazon with 25 fuel line clips. And I think I paid $15 for that. And then I have this 3/4 inch lag bolt that's got 1/4 inch thread on the inside, both sides. Got that off Amazon as well. I had to get those in a pair. I couldn't source that single, but that's going to be going into the top of the gas can, and then has these rubber O-rings on both sides to kind of seal it up. This 90-degree 1/4 inch thread, I don't know, elbow cap, I guess you could call it, is going to go into the top of the 5-gallon tank. And I'll kind of show you why at the end of this video I decided to go with that elbow instead of one of these straight ones. And then we have your basic, I don't know, 1/4 inch thread, airline connector, fuel line connector. you can kind of use them both for the same. I got 2 male threaded ones and 3 female threaded ones. The female threads are going to go into this Atwood quick fuel line disconnect. Sourced that off Amazon. I think they are $10 each, which is a little pricey for a plastic fuel line connector, but you know, my original thought was to just go with the brass airline connectors. And to get that done, I would have had to use 2 of these plugs that are about $3 each, and then one of the brass airline plugs, which isn't really rated for gasoline. I know you can use it for that, but it's not really rated for it. And that would have cost me about $3 or $4. So for about the same price, I just was able to source this, and I'm going to be using 3 of these total. So I've got 2 more coming through Amazon. I wanted to kind of take a look and see what it was before I got it. So those are the parts that I'll be using to build this, and altogether I think I'm just at under $100 for the 2 gas cans and all the parts. Okay, this is the gas cap off of the 5-gallon can, and you'll see on top it has this this little filler plug. So normally, if you're going to use this in like a racing application, you would take the filler plug out. You would put the filler neck in that has the nice long extension, and you would either toss this or maybe set it aside for later. But my intent was to get the lag bolt and just kind of thread it in here, but you can see it's just not quite big enough. So this is the biggest one I could find. I looked at all the hardware stores locally and on Amazon, and this is where I sourced this from, was from Amazon, and it's 3/4 inch male threads and 1/4 inch female threads, and I just couldn't find anything bigger than that. So my plan is to do the same thing with this cap as I did with the generator caps, which is just to drill out the inside of this just a little bit smaller than the male threads of this bolt, and then slowly thread it into the plastic and have a nice good seal here. So I'm going to work on that and be back with you in a sec. Okay, so this is the finished product on the gas cap on the auxiliary gas can. The drilled out red plug worked really good. It holds this lag bolt in place really, really well. Got a 90-degree plug going into the lag bolt, and I used the yellow Teflon tape, which is rated for gasoline, to seal those threads. On the bottom, got a nut that's not really necessary to hold the lag bolt in place, but it came with it, so I put it on it. And then a straight 1/4 inch plug that goes to the fuel line. Got the fuel line cut at an angle so it doesn't suck to the bottom of the tank and create a vapor lock situation. And when it's in the tank, it rests right against it. You can see right there. So I should be able to get most of the gas out of the tank when it runs out. Next, I'm going to be doing the gas cap for the wind generator. Again, this is the, I think, newest version, 56203i. So this one has a running watts of 1700, starting watts of 2000 watts. And again, it's going to be my primary generator. Will be running the rig about 70% of the time, unless I need air conditioner, and then I'll be paralleling the two. So it's got the same gas cap as the Honda, or I'm sorry, the Yamaha, which has a an on and off. So on makes the gas cap vented, off makes the gas cap sealed. So we'll be doing the same thing to this one as I did to the Yamaha. Okay, first thing we're going to do is remove the cotter pin. And then washer and spring. And another washer. And this just selector switch comes out. And the interior design of this cap is a little bit different than the Yamaha. This is pretty tight right here. So I'm not quite sure how the 1/4" barb is going to hold up. I'm gonna have to drill out a little bit bigger hole for this one. So let me get into that and I'll have a solution. Okay, I made a quick run to the hardware store, and this is the 1/4" barb that I used in the Yamaha and will be using throughout the rest of the build. This is what I got out of the hardware store. It's an 1/8" barb, so you can see the threads are quite a bit smaller. And my goal, I don't know if you can see it or not, my goal is to save that middle part. There we go. So that middle part is a little bit different than the Yamaha. The Yamaha was all just one big ring, but this one has a extended middle piece. It's going to be holding the barb and goes all the way down in there to the bottom of the cap, and I don't think this bottom is very thick. So I'm going to drill this out. Hopefully I can save that. If not, then I'll have to try something else. Got the hole successfully drilled and a tap started. That's what it looks like there. See, the integrity of the walls are still there. It looks like this gas cap has some, I don't know, secondary vents in there. So I'm going to seal all of that up with some gasket maker and then tighten this thing down. Okay, I got the gap all sealed up and ready to go. It turned out good. Barb fully seated. Got a little gasket maker on there. I don't know if you can see on the bottom or not. But we got a nice tight seat on the bottom. So this cap should be good to go. I had hoped to kind of keep it to where I could reuse it if I needed to send the generator back, but I think that ship has sailed. So I'm probably going to get on to Wynn's website. They have a nice website that has all of their parts breakdown, and order a new gas cap. I think this one is $12 or $13. So I'm going to get on there, do that now. That way, you know, I have a spare gas cap if I'm not going to use this system, or if I need to send it back, I'll be able to put the new gas cap on and send it on. So on with the build. Okay, this is going to be the final product. The table is collapsible, and the plan with that is to set that up once we get to the races and either hook one or both generators up to the gas can and run that for a weekend. I went with this design of table, so it's real easy to throw a tarp over the top of the gas can and stake the tarp down while leaving the front and back a little bit exposed. So if we're getting some rain overnight or rain on the weekend, I can still run the generators with them covered. I've seen a lot of generators for sale on Amazon for anywhere from, or generator covers for anywhere from, you know, $70 to $140, and all it is basically you just set this little tent to cover the generator, leaving the exhaust exposed. So that's kind of the plan with this table. I did source a 7x9 tarp off of Amazon with the grommet already installed for about $15. I put it over the top and kind of staked it down a little bit, and it seems to work good. So starting from the top of the fuel can, there is the fuel hose connected to the 90-degree elbow. and that goes into a quick disconnect. So at the end of the race weekend, I'll be able to simply push this button here and disconnect the hose, maybe. So the entire system will be able to be stored in the RV. The 2 gas cans and the 2 generators are stored on the back of the RV. And when I get home, I'll take the gas cans and the generators off and leave this fuel system in the RV. Okay, going down from there, I've got the line connected to a little fuel filter. I use these on my motorcycles and they seem to work well. I've seen some other videos that has a much bigger fuel filter on it, but I don't think it's necessary for this kind of fuel flow or this fuel draw. I think that one's going to work just fine. I don't think I listed this in the parts when I was discussing parts earlier, but this is a Y connection that I got off Amazon for maybe 10 or 12 bucks. It gives me the ability to open both generators or one generator, or close them both at the end of the weekend. So it's just kind of an easy flow connection. Going down, you can see that I have the wind generator hooked up, and again I have another of the quick disconnects. Ended up going with 3 of those, 1 for the gas can and 1 for each generator. And here's the Yamaha with the quick disconnect disconnected. So more than likely this will be the way I run it for 60% of the time. I'll have the wind hooked up to the gas can, and when it's time to run the air conditioner and other heavy draw items from the trailer, we'll start both generators. This is what the inside of the quick disconnect looks like. So you just hook it right up and go. Doing it this way also gives me the ability to run these generators with these gas cans installed, but without having to get new gas caps. This is going to be an open system, so this is just like running the gas can in the on position. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take both generators out, start them up, let them run for about 2 or 3 hours to make sure that we have good fuel draw from the gas can using both generators. Okay, I've had this running for about 2 hours now, and it looks like a failure. So there is no fuel being sucked into the fuel filter, and the generators have been running with no vapor lock. So that means I probably have an air leak somewhere. My guess, it's this Y adapter that I got off Amazon. These are really loose, so I don't know. I'm gonna try something else, I guess. Okay, this ended up being the final design. I could not get these generators to suck the gas out of the tank without using a primer bulb. So I got that at Walmart for about $17. Added a piece of clear fuel line so I could see the fuel actually being primed. And what I had to do was fill both generators completely full, and then close these 2 valves, and then prime the line, and then open the valves. And I did that once or twice, and the line was fully primed. You probably can't see it, but there's gas in the line, there's gas in the fuel filter. So the first line is where the fuel started, and I ran the generators for about 75 minutes, and you can see where the fuel is at now. So I'm confident that this 5-gallon tank will feed both generators. All right, if you have any questions about anything with this build, just post your questions in the comment section, and I will try my best to answer them.